Welcome to PLUSone, the series where each month I look at the free games on PlayStation Plus and tell you if they're worth the download. After all, the games may be free, but your time is valuable. On the docket for today is Bulletstorm Full Clip Edition, a 2017 remaster of People Can Fly's 2011 first-person shooter. Also known as possibly the most vulgar game of all time, this ultra-violent parody of the FPS genre has earned a cult following for its unique blend of combat, and probably also for some of the most creative combinations of expletives you've ever heard. Fun fact, by the way, the developers of this game had a large hand in developing Fortnite, so when you think of the Fortnite dances and all of those little kids playing, don't forget that these same guys and gals that made that coined the term fungal job. Even the developers themselves have looked back and said, yeah, we went overboard, whoops. Anyway, this is a game that I played right when it first came out, and I've felt ever since then that it's one of the most underrated games of the past decade at least. Coming back to it nearly a decade later, do I still feel the same way? And more importantly, would I recommend it? Is it worth the full 8-hour journey and 13 gigs on your hard drive? You know the drill, let's find out. In Bulletstorm, you play as Grayson Hunt, the alcoholic leader of a squad of wanted space mercenaries. Thanks to Gray's lust for revenge against the corrupt General Serrano, pretty much his entire squad dies immediately, and he's left stranded on a planet full of crazed mutants. From there, the goal is to find a way to the General's location to either exact that revenge or find a way off the planet. That's the gist of the plot, minus a lot of expletives. There are other wrinkles thrown into the mix too, and the writing is good enough to both be incredibly stupid and, at points, kind of intelligent. Like, on paper you're playing as this hyper-masculine dude bro kind of character, and everybody around you seems like an FPS trope at first. But as the game progresses, you start seeing them develop a little bit. It's never thrown in your face though. Almost all of the development that we get is hidden under the surface, so that the game, like Gray, can keep up that masculine facade. And that facade, don't let it fool you, is absolutely a parody of how violent shooters can get. In Bulletstorm, your experience points are earned through skill shots, which require you to kill enemies in a variety of incredibly gruesome ways. You can impale people onto cacti or spikes, splat their brains into a wall for the graffiti skill shot, set them on fire, electrocute them on loose wires, shoot them in the, family jewels, and so on. You can then spend these experience points when you find drop kits around the levels to upgrade your weapon's max capacity or add a bonus shot that does even more violent damage. For example, with the assault rifle, your secondary shot loads an entire 100-round clip into one shot and disintegrates any enemies it hits. With weapons like a quad-barrel shotgun that can shoot through cover, a drill that can stick enemies into walls or each other, and so on, the game gives you every reason to be as creative and insane as possible, and it makes for an incredibly fun time. Throw that all together with Gray's instinct leash, which can grab enemies or objects and fly them towards him, his gravity boots that can kick even the heaviest items into the air, and his incredibly fast baseball slides, and you have a game that is just wall-to-wall mayhem. The leash and gravity boots even slow enemies down for a bit after they're sent flying into the air, giving you the chance to pinpoint exactly where you want to shoot them. That said, the game's not perfect by any stretch. There are a few questionable design choices, like having X as your primary sprint button, giving your character this sort of tank control scheme while sprinting by attaching the camera controls to the left analog stick instead of the right analog stick, and the overall lack of a jump button. And these all take away ever so slightly from the experience. However, Bulletstorm's designed with each of these things in mind, so it's rarely an issue and more of a nitpick. Anyway, once you're done with the main story, there are still a few other things you can tackle, including Echoes, which just have you replay chunks of missions with bonus objectives, and Anarchy, a co-op horde mode where you need to prioritize skill shots to progress through the different waves. These are both, okay, they're nothing super special, though Anarchy would definitely be a good amount of fun with 3 buddies. Sadly, or perhaps thankfully, there's no competitive multiplayer here. It would have been fun to see how these gruesome skill shots worked in a PvP environment, but then this game was never going to have an active player base anyway, so I get why it's not here. Before I wrap up, there's one more thing in Bulletstorm that I haven't mentioned yet, and this one is exclusive to the Full Clip Edition remaster, Duke Nukem. Yeah, since Gearbox took over publishing duties for the remaster, and since they have the rights to Duke Nukem just sort of sitting there doing nothing, somebody thought it was a good idea to lump Duke into this game. All he is a skin for Gray with Duke's voice thrown on top. He copies every line, usually word for word, sometimes throwing in some slight tweaks. Nobody responds to him differently though. Hell, everybody still calls him Gray, but it's there in case you want to make the game significantly less funny. Seriously, Steve Bloom's delivery as Gray is spot on for most of the game, but like always, John St. John's delivery is intentional 90s cheese. And that just doesn't work in 2018. Just listen to this example.
You piles give chase, I will kill your
What does that even mean? You're gonna kill my Is that a come on?
What? What does that even mean? You're gonna kill my Well, I'll kill your How about that, huh?
And that's just about it for Bulletstorm, really. It's the kind of game that doesn't seem particularly engaging when you're watching videos on it, but as soon as the controller hits your hands, you're in for an absolute blast. Actually, it's kind of like Yakuza on that front. November is a very good month for PS Plus hidden gems. I think if you enjoy shooters, especially something like Doom 2016, you owe it to yourself to +1 Bulletstorm and give it a shot. It would be a very good game to pound out over the course of a weekend, although if you want to go for that Platinum trophy, be prepared to grind out for dozens of hours to hit that max level in Anarchy. I wouldn't recommend that. If you're watching this video after November and you missed your chance to get it for free, Bulletstorm still inexplicably goes for $40 on PSN, which is just highway robbery. It goes for a much fairer $20 at most retail stores. I think for 20 bucks, it's worth picking up one day and giving it a shot, but it wouldn't hurt to wait for a sale and get it half off. Or if you still have a PS3 or Xbox 360, just get it for like $5 there. It's exactly the same game. So with all that said, are you going to give Bulletstorm a shot? Or if you have already, what do you think about it? Let me know down in the comments below, and while you're down there, make sure to hit the like button to help this channel grow. And if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe for more PS Plus reviews, my main series of more detailed gaming videos, and much more.